where we have defaulted, we are now a country that is moving forward. Someone comes and said, this is the wrong policy. This is the wrong direction that you have taken. The question to them is that if they come to power in 2026, they say we are coming to power, and we are going to undo the debt restructuring. They should tell us where they are going to get the 14 billion to pay our debtors. Where are they going to take it from? So this government is doing a lot, and this is the core. This statement is the core to all of us coming from the opposition, all walks of life. When you come here, we want to hear the policy alternatives. To say, this is what we have done. If it was me in your position, this is what I should have done, so that now people are going to be given a chance to decide which one looks better. Not just to come here and say, no, this one is, fruit is very expensive. What are you going to do about it? I don't know. But food is expensive. If I come to power, I will resolve this. It shouldn't be like that. We need to be very, very truthful. Mr. Speaker, another pertinent issue that the President brought to this House was the issue of delimitation. When he talked about dealing with the Constitution so that we can deal with delimitation. And the President quoted the Constitution by saying, what we are going to use, we are going to use the land size and the population so that we can have equal distribution of resources in this country. Mr. Speaker, the President echoed it again when he visited us in Northern Province. Northern Province is one province that has been really disadvantaged in terms of allocation of constituencies in this country. The other province that have suffered really very much is Lusaka here. Lusaka is the biggest population in Zambia. But when you count the number of constituencies that are in Lusaka, I think there is 11 or 12, somewhere there. 7 constituencies. But huge population, it shouldn't be like that. So this issue is not just like because people from this particular side, they know how to talk well, they can come here and bring their points together. Despite their small size, they are given a lot of constituencies. They are given a lot of resources. It shouldn't go in that way. Therefore, the President is saying the Constitution is very clear. Let's amend it so that once we amend it in terms of the number, we have equal distribution of resources, not just looking at other areas being left behind. Northern Province, for example, we have 1.7 million population. Is the 5th largest province in this country, both in terms of size and in terms of population. But when you look at the number of constituencies, they are very small. They are it's a very, very small number, to the extent that now taking these resources, these important resources that we have been given, because you are looking at a huge amount of land, you are looking at a huge amount of population, it is becoming very, very difficult. Therefore, the people of Northern Province warmly welcome this idea of amending the Constitution so that resources, because everyone has seen the benefit of this CDF. Even those who are saying CDF is not working, go to their constituents and touch their CDF, you see how you are going to fight. They are going to fight you tooth and nail. But when they come here, they say this CDF is not working, it's a hoax. CDF is a game changer. Northern Province now, Northern Province is seeing the unprecedented development that has never seen since the start of this country because of this CDF. Yeah. I am telling you, Mr. Speaker, having this CDF issue 30.6 million per constituency and having the constituencies delimited, going into the next 10 years, we are going to see cities now coming out of Northern Province. We are no longer going to be a rural province, but we are going to be an urban province with a lot of cities. Mr. Speaker, before I can end, I can see I still have going to be a minute. Yes, Mr. Speaker. So we want, finally, we want to urge all of us to support the proposed amendments in the Constitution, because I know deep down our hearts those who are in the opposition, those who are in the ruling party, we understand to say that what the president is trying to talk about, we are beneficiaries. We all want to go into the councils. Yeah. We all want to see these things working in the way they are supposed to be, not the way the case is. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, I want to take this opportunity on behalf of the people of Northern Province to really support this statement that was given by the President. I thank you, sir.
The Honorable Provincial Minister for Southern Province.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, for allowing us as people of Southern Province to also add a voice to the motion on the speech of the President, Mr. Hakainde Hichilema, on the state of the nation, on values and principles. Mr. Speaker, we are so grateful. The President of the Republic of Zambia, Mr. Hakainde Hichilema, came to this House, and today, as a province, we are reflecting on the progress made in the application of national values and applications in Southern Province. I'm so grateful. Mr. Speaker, in his State of the Nation address, the President underscored the importance of morality and ethics as the bedrock of a just and progressive society, of which we support as a province. To echo what the President said, I want to indicate, Mr. President, Mr. Speaker, on what we have done as provincial administration in Southern Province on the issues of prevalence of early child marriage and teenage pregnancies. As provincial administration, Mr. Speaker, we were able to conduct sensitization programs, meeting with their Royal Highnesses across the province to help working with government to redress this situation. 40 traditional leaders were sensitized. To this end, notable progress was made, with 315 children having been successfully withdrawn from child marriages, thereby safeguarding their rights and future. To address this growing social concern, Mr. Speaker, 76 organizations as well as 221,000 individuals were equally sensitized. Mr. Speaker, the issue of gender-based violence, Mr. President, the President of the Republic of Zambia, highlighted in his speech. And as provincial administration, we have also taken a step to curb gender-based violence, persistence by conducting public awareness campaigns across the province. Additionally, Mr. Speaker, a place of safety was constructed to provide refuge and support to survivors. This facility will serve as a safe space where survivors can find temporary shelter away from abusive environments. Professionalism and ethical conduct in the public sector in our province, Mr. Speaker, the province took deliberate steps to enhance professionalism and ethical conduct. Over 1,000 public officers were sensitized on the Public Service Code of Ethics, and 7 Integrity Committee meetings were held to strengthen oversight mechanisms as well as combat corruption and unethical practices. Mr. Speaker, the President also mentioned cultural preservation. We are so excited that in the year 2024 to 2025, the government in the province supported all the traditional ceremonies through material support and also officiating on these traditional ceremonies, which 6 of them were officiated by Mr. President Hakainde Hichilema, President of Zambia. This, Mr. Speaker, the President has set a precedence of bringing traditional leaders together. And during traditional ceremonies in the 2024, as a province, we witnessed a lot of unity among traditional leaders, not only in the province, but across the country. The latest traditional ceremony that the President officiated in Kazungula district, we recorded an attendance of traditional leaders across the country, 75 of them. Mr. Speaker, the President has demonstrated much support to cultural preservation and support to tradition ceremonies. In terms of this culture preservation, as a province, we have gone a mile ahead, where we invited a foreign national to become a senior village headman in Chief Hamsonde's area. And we are so grateful for that in Wengwa village. This was an open gesture, Mr. Speaker, in recognition of her contributions to promote peace, justice, and Zambia's political stability. Furthermore, 4 cultural festivals were hosted in appreciation of our Zambian culture and heritage. Mr. Speaker, on democracy and constitutionalism, I want to indicate that the people of Southern Province, together with our traditional leaders, we are there to uphold the norms of constitutionalism. And when it comes to the issue of constitutional amendment, as a province, we are ready to support. Delimitation, Mr. Speaker, is an issue that we are ready to support in the province, because we understand that Southern Province is one of the biggest provinces. And we want to see constituencies like Atombola to be delimited together with Wengwa. Mr. Speaker, Constituency Development Fund, the President must be commended by all well-meaning Zambians. Increasing CDF from 1.6 million to 36 million now is a milestone. And the people of Southern Province are very grateful. Government deserves commendation for prioritizing equitable development through enhanced Constituency Development Fund framework, which aims to address regional disparities and promote inclusive growth. This has brought about localized infrastructure and skills development, with priority community projects being identified by citizens at ward level. This had never happened until when President Hakainde Hichilema became President of this Republic. The people in Southern Province, Mr. Speaker, they are so excited with this government, and we shall continue to work and support government policies in the province for the good of our people. Mr. Speaker, there are a lot of projects that have taken place in the province to make sure that the people of Southern Province, who were once upon a time highly marginalized by the previous regime, even at the time when there was drought in 2019, the people of Southern Province suffered. And this time around, they are so excited in the manner this new Dawn government managed the drought situation across the country. As I conclude, Mr. Speaker, the President in this address reaffirmed our commitment to our national values and principles that define us as a nation, and I wish to state that Southern Province stands resolute in its dedication to uphold and strive to create society that is morally upright, united, democratic, and just. Mr. Speaker, I thank you.
The Honorable Minister for Copperbelt Province.
Mr. Speaker, from the outset, I wish to express my sincere gratitude to you for giving me opportunity to rise on behalf of the people of Copperbelt Province to reflect on the speech delivered to this August House on Friday, 28 February 2025 by our able President of the Republic of Zambia, Mr. Hakainde Hichilema, on national values and principles. Mr. Speaker, allow me to commend you for your exemplary leadership, which continues to steer this House with maturity and unwavering impartiality. I wish to applaud President Hakainde Hichilema for his resilience, tenacity, determination, and visionary leadership in steering this country through prosperity, despite passing through so many complex challenges. Despite the severe drought that disrupted economic and social activities last year, this administration remained focused and steadfast on delivering development and progress to the Zambian people. As a result of the severe drought we experienced last year, this government did not sit idle but mobilized funds and introduced cash for work program to cushion the impact of the drought on our vulnerable but viable citizens. Our vulnerable people, Mr. Speaker, are being paid every 10 days for the work being done in the Copperbelt Province alone, as 159,470 beneficiaries on the Cash for Work program from August 2024 to January 2025. The President's dynamic leadership has also ushered in a new era of progress in the mining sector, particularly on the Copperbelt Province, where dormant mines are being revived, bringing jobs and economic stability to our people. It's a fact that Copperbelt is all about mining. I've always said that several mines, like Mupani, was in intensive care unit. KCM was in the mortuary. 28 Shaft was at the graveyard because it was closed 23 years ago. This president has resuscitated all these mines. KCM has brought life back to Chingola, Chirilawombwe, and Nampumbwe. Mopani has brought life back to Kitwe and Mufrira. And 28 Shaft has brought back life to Luansha. Mopani and KCM have already paid suppliers and contractors who were not paid for many years by the previous government. As a result, companies and organizations like Kitwe City Council, which was paid 87 million kwacha, also in return, they paid all the retirees who waited for their money after retirement. Furthermore, Copperbelt Province has received a fair share of new projects that have been initiated by this government. Among them is the completed Masangano Road. If you are going to Kitwe, Mr. Speaker, don't bother to pass via Ndola. Masangano Road is complete. You can just pass through Masangano, you'll be in Kitwe. Masangano Luansha Road is complete. You can drive to Luansha from Kitwe Tunnel in 15 minutes which we used to take 1 hour, 30 minutes sometimes. We have done the first ever concrete road, Chivuluma Road, which gave help to truckers. We have completed Chingola, Chirilawombwe, Kasumbalesa Road, and we'll be putting up a modern border post. We'll be doing Pongwe Machia Road. The president sent the Minister of Infrastructure to meet the chiefs there. We are doing the long-awaited Ndola Sakanya Mufrira Road, which was dead almost 24 years ago. That is what this president has done. In the health sector, we have seen the construction of several level 1 hospitals. Before the departure of my sister, Honorable Masewa, I think she laid a strong foundation. The president commissioned the modern level 1 hospital in Chifumu, state of the art. He came and commissioned level 1 hospital, state of the art in Chirawombwe. He came and commissioned level 1 hospital, state of the art hospital in Chimwemwe. He came and commissioned level 1 hospital, state of the art in Chirawombwe. He's given us the first ever cancer hospital on the Copperbelt Province. And we've built several other hospitals like in Masaiti, in Chingola, and other places. If I talk about health posts, they are almost everywhere using CDF. When we talk about the medicines, when we came in, we were at 43% on the Copperbelt Province. Every time a patient went to the hospital, they were given prescriptions. Now, if you go to Copperbelt Province, I went to check all the health centers, we are standing at between 80 and 90%. The medicines are there available. I've been given more than 2,000, close to 3,000 new health workers. This is what has been done in the health sector, which used to be almost dead. Look at Ndola Teaching Hospital. Anyone who was referred to Ndola Teaching Hospital, the first thing they met were bad roads, and they lost hope of recovery. Go to Ndola Teaching Hospital. We have given it a facelift. We have given them, we have done the road network. You will find state-of-the-art car park. If you go in the night, you think you are in Italy, but you are at Ndola Teaching Hospital. We are doing the same at Kito Teaching Hospital, doing the road network, bringing the car park to other standards. We are doing the same with Kalulushi Teaching Hospital. But Mr. Speaker, when we talk about, coming back to the President's speech on national values and principles, I wish to state that the speech was powerful. Reminder of the core ideas and that build us as a nation. Values that reflect who we are, what we stand for, and the collective future we aspire to build together. The President articulated an inspiring vision grounded in unity, integrity, and service to the people of Zambia. He emphasized on unity. It's a known fact, Mr. Speaker, that prior and during 2021 election, this country was divided. We were divided on tribal lines. We were divided on political lines. The problem which is there is that some people want to go back and take us to division. The president has been running from one traditional ceremony to the other, where, for example, the ceremony came to on the Copperbelt Province in chiefdom of Nkambo chiefdom, 60 traditional leaders came for that ceremony. This time around, chiefs are able to know each other. He's talking about unity because he wants to walk the talk of reuniting this country again. This does not sit well to those who believe in division, using division to gain political mileage. We cannot go there again. Mr. Speaker, when we talk about constitution amendments, delimitation, I'm a bearer of message from Chief Machia, the chairperson of Lamba Royal Establishment, and the people of Copperbelt. Look at Rufuanyama. You put all the district towns together. Rufuanyama is 3 times bigger than those districts. And the people of Rufuanyama are asking, those who don't want delimitation, Lufuanyama is like a country on its own. Look at Mpongwe. It's like a country on its own. All what the president wants to do is to give hope to the people of Lufuanyama and Mpongwe and other areas. And other things he's talking about, I think you heard him taking the MPs back to the chamber. Other things, having youths and women, more youths in this house. Those are the things he's talking about. I want to advise our colleagues who want to mislead the nation to stop it. Bola nina interminate. Wait for the white paper. Stop talking something which is not there. The problem we have, I've never seen the hatred which some people have against President Hakainde Hichilema. The same people persecuted him when we were in opposition are the same ones who are going on top of the mountain trying to do all sorts of things. In reality, they know that this is one of the best presidents this country has ever produced.
Wind up.
But, Mr. Speaker, I want to support the speech of the president. Thank you so much.
The Honorable Minister for Luapula Province.
Madam Speaker, Mr. Speaker, I thank you for allowing the good people of Luapula, through their first-born UPND MP, to debate the speech by the President, Dr. Hakainde Hichilema, on the progress made in the application of the national values and principles, which was delivered to this August House on 28th February 2025. From the onset, I would like to put it on record that the people of Luapula Province do support and accept this important speech. As a people of Luapula Province, we have dissected the entire speech and we want to focus our debate on two thematic areas, namely democracy and constitutionalism. Madam Speaker, Mr. Speaker, as the people of Luapula Province, we know that Constitution is the supreme law of the land, and while it is sacrosanct, its provisions must be respected at all times. Mr. Speaker, Article 58 of the amended 2016 Constitution, specifically 58.4, directs that the Electoral Commission of Zambia shall determine the names and boundaries of constituencies and wards, and that under Article 58.5, the Electoral Commission shall, at intervals of not more than 10 years, review the names and boundaries of constituencies. Under this same article, particularly sub-clause 58.6, the names and details of the boundaries and of the constituencies and what shall be publicized in the Gazette and shall come into effect, and I want to repeat this, on the next dissolution of Parliament or councils. This, Mr. Speaker, simply means that ECZ will be in breach of the Constitution if the delimitation exercise is not done before 2026, as the next dissolution after 26 will only be in 2031. That means it will be 15 years later. That will be total breach of the Constitution. Mr. Speaker, I want to remind this August House that on 23rd February 2021, the then Minister of Justice, Mr. Ruvinda, in a mysterious statement to this August House, told this August House and the nation at large about delimitation. And I do have the copy of that ministerial statement. In this ministerial statement, he did agree to delimitation of constituencies. And because it's a long document, I'll lay it on the table, Mr. Speaker. I just want to read the two last sentences, which said, the Patriotic Front government generally remains committed to implementing the delimitation process and to do so immediately after the 2021 general elections. Mr. Speaker, I'm still quoting. Allow me to end by stating that it is now my hope and prayer that this matter has been put to rest and may be only allowed to resurrect after the election of His Excellency Dr. Chagwalungu in August 21. This never came to pass, Mr. Speaker. In short, there is consensus when people say they doubt what the president meant when he says there is consensus. This was already done. We are not going back to any other documents. In these documents, 90 constituencies were created under the delimitation exercise that was done by the ECZ. 90. Mr. Speaker, it is disheartening that the opposition is now very loquaciously complaining over the matter of delimitation and over constitutional amendment. While consensus building is fundamental in every constitution-making process, this level of hypocrisy from the PF should not go unchecked. And like I've said, I'll lay this on the table. Madam, Mr. Speaker, additionally, during my youth days, I can confirm that through the Mwanga Constitutional Review Commission, it was recommended that Zambia adopts the mixed member proportional representation system. This means that some seats will be elected by direct votes at constituency level under the first past the post. And while other seats will be proportional representation under the party list. The rationale of our recommendation as Mungomba, was that under the proportional representation, youths, women, and disadvantaged groups, and different able persons will be able to get into parliament through that route. This call has been long overdue, Mr. Speaker, and this is the right time to respect this submission and close it forever. Mr. Speaker, election conducted under the watch of our UPND administration, including Kawambwa Central and Pambashe, have been largely peaceful amid provocations from the congregation of smaller parties. Our campaign messages in all past by-elections focus on developmental programs initiated by the new donor administration under our able and great leader of our time, President Hakainde Hichilema. Madam Speaker, the Kawambwa Central and that of Pambashe by-elections are a clear testament that the dark age of bloodshed during elections is long gone, and gone for good. Never again will violence return to the Zambian political electioneering. This is not by accident, Mr. Speaker, but a demonstration that President Hakainde Hichilema's leadership was the missing link to political stability and the development of our country. It is simply from another universe. On human dignity, equity, social justice, equality, and non-discrimination, Mr. Speaker, Luapula Province has been neglected and subjected to untold poverty and underdevelopment for a very long time. Successful governments, especially the PF and its leaders, only required to get closer to electors pretending to solve developmental issues during election period. Our people in Kawambwa and Luapula in general were enslaved and duped with the Tantamen syndrome as real development eluded them. The immediate past regime boasted about massive infrastructure in Kawambwa, in Luapula Province, and the rest of the northern region. But, Mr. Speaker, this was deceit of the highest degree. As even with any magnifying glasses, no one would see where they claimed the infrastructure was built. Mr. Speaker, through the strong and selfish leadership provided by President Dr. Hakainde Hichilema, the people of Luapula can now attest that within just 3.5 years, the new donor nation, free education from primary to secondary has been delivered, and this has lifted the financial burden of our struggling families in this province, allowing thousands of children to access school without any hindrance. I can confirm that Kawambwa and Luapula have had a share from the historical recruitment of over 40,000 teachers and over 11,000 health workers. As of today, no one in Kawambwa and Luapula Province, no child sits on the floor during classroom lessons. Grants and loans have been disbursed without discriminations. Classrooms and rural centers and maternity have been constructed in all our wards. These efforts have not only boosted service delivered, but also reduced unemployment, demonstrating government's commitment to job creation. Mr. Speaker, these are not mere political slogans. They are verifiable achievements that resonate well with the ordinary Zambians. And we strongly believe that had it not been for the 2023-2024 drought, Luapula and Zambia in general would have seen much more development under our visionary leader, President Dr. Hakainde Hichilema. But like they say, development is not a marathon, but a sprint, and conforms to, in project management, agile. With the CDF significantly expanded to now 36.1 million, the people of Kawambwa, the people of Kawambwa and Luapula now have a greater autonomy in addressing their developmental needs. A total shift from the bureaucratic inefficiencies of our past regimes. Madam Speaker, all gateway roads in Luapula Province, Tuta Road, the Pedico Road, were left in a deplorable state, including all the inter-district roads. Where still nearly all district CBD roads are gravel, including Kawambwa, where I come from. We are grateful that the new Dawn administration has now embarked on a plan to work on the Chembe, Mansa, Mwansabombwe, Cherenge Road, while the Kashkishi, Runchinda, Kaputa Road, as well as Musairak, Lubwe, Kasaba Road will be upgraded to be dominant standards. In Kawambwa alone, the road linking Chipiri and in Cherenge, including the one that links to Kala, Marine Barracks, will be which are completely impassable, will now be worked on using the CDF. As I conclude, Mr. Speaker, contrary to the doomsayers in the 2021 election that President Hakainde Hichilema would divide the country, this has been proved wrong. And this can be seen by how he has been able to bring together traditional leaders from different provinces through traditional ceremonies. To reciprocate this gesture, the Chinga people from Kawambwa Chipiri, and Mwense will be extending an invitation to Mr. President to grace the Malaila traditional ceremony of the Chinga people later this year. We have also seen equitable appointments to this cabinet. And again, the people of Luapula are grateful to President Hakainde Hichilema for appointing their first-born UPND MP as the Luapula Province Minister. Lastly, I wish to end by stating that Kawambwa by-election was comparable to the biblical David and Goliath fight. And truth be told, the Goliath dressed in a different cloth was defeated in Kawambwa Center. And this was later on amplified by Pambashe defeat. Kawambwa is now red, and so is Luapula. And I can only declare that come 2026, the people of Luapula will make history by siding with development and the mighty UPND in all the 15 parliamentary constituencies. Mr. Speaker, the people of Luapula overwhelmingly support this presidential speech. I submit.
Order. I can safely say that he's a very good debater. His debate is issue-based. You've added a lot of value to this House, and as a presiding officer, very proud of you. The Honorable Minister for Lusaka Province.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. After the debate of Luapula, the question is, Nivana nivareteka? Nivana nivari pampando? Eche. Paribe nantotap. Mr. Speaker, meaning, who is on the chair of the rule? It is the President H.H. himself. Who are ruling? It is UPND government. Is there any argument here? No. Mr. Speaker, I want to thank you sincerely for according me this opportunity to contribute to the debate in support of the progress made in the application of the national values and principles presented to this August House on Friday, 28 February 2025. By the Republican President, Mr. Hakainde Hichilema, during the fourth session of the 13th National Assembly. Mr. Speaker, in the past year, we have gone through a challenging time after going through a drought that was declared a national disaster. But the President's speech stands as a beacon of light at the end of the tunnel, giving us hope for the future and reminding us that even though our principles and values have been tested, the nation still stands unified as one Zambia, one nation. Mr. Speaker, the speech highlighted government's commitment to ensuring that our girls get an education despite the perils of teenage pregnancies and early childhood marriages. This has been made clear through efforts made in sensitization as well as legal reforms. When it comes to gender-based violence, our government continues to provide support to victims through counseling, legal aid, shelter, and on the matter of cybercrime and bullying, this government resolved to create a safer and more productivity digital space remains undeterred. Mr. Speaker, I would like to take this opportunity to recognize the government's effort in increasing transparency in the governance space, allowing our people to freely express themselves, associate with one another, to participate in the matters that affect them. This is made evident by the New Dawn's invitation of the UN Rapporteur on freedom of expression to assess the standards being set in our country. The growing media space and the government's desire to ensure that every voice is heard by making it possible for every eligible voter to be able to cast their vote through continuous voter registration, with 30 districts now housing voter registration centers. I commend the government, through the able leadership of the Republican President, Mr. Hakainde Hichilema, for its hard-working, protecting human rights, fighting for equity and equality, as well as social justice. The work is bearing fruit as internationally recognized independent bodies have improved Zambia's standing in the world. Mr. Speaker, the Constituency Development Fund impact cannot be overemphasized, allowing communities to be the instigators and drivers of their own developmental needs that has made it so much easier for development to reach the area that were often under-supported. This is more evidence of this government's commitment to transparency and efficiency. Despite this, more can be done, and I welcome the direction that is being intended to be taken with the subdivision of large constituencies, as this will serve as catalyst for acceleration of development in unserved areas. Due to the size of constituencies, and Lusaka Province houses some of these large constituencies like Chongwe, like Kafue, like Rufunsa. Mr. Speaker, I can attest that Lusaka Province is a beneficiary of many efforts and progress highlighted in the President's speech. For instance, last year, Lusaka, through the Lusaka Provincial Health Office, rolled out the new mental health training package in which 25 healthcare workers were trained. The activity was done to provide the healthcare workers knowledge and skills in the provisions of mental health services at primary health care level, which includes management of alcohol and substance use in all health facilities. And when it comes to gender-based violence, the province managed 146 cases, and all the victims were supported and continues to work with our communities to ensure our women and girls are safe and thriving. Mr. Speaker, I want to join the President in his call to put our local products as priority and services. I want to re-emphasize that we cannot grow or develop our country if we choose to ignore our homegrown products and services in favor of things made outside the country. Let us support each other, and in so doing, ensure the growth of our economy. Last year, Lusaka Province, through the Department of Small and Medium Enterprises, linked 219 businesses for empowerment funds and 524 cooperatives to large off-tankers for sale of their products. This is clear indicator that so many of our people have great ideas and are willing to execute them, but just require more financial banking. I would also like to echo the President's sentiments encouraging us all to continue forward in the spirit of unity, and this great country is known for that. Zambia houses people of various tribes, races, religions, all working together and in harmony with one another. Lusaka Province leads in this as the capital city. We see people from very different backgrounds working together in peace. Let us uphold this virtue and regard it as a point of pride and a blessing, and let us ensure, as the President has encouraged, that we continue to avoid vices like hate speech and political violence in whatever we do, wherever we are. Shall we arise? Let us instead thrive on ideas that elevate this country. As I conclude, I want to urge this august House to support this government as it delivers on the application of the national values and principles. These values and principles call for us all to be our best selves, not the senseless things that I see in here, where a small child can call the presiding officer by name. A respectable house where we must show our best characters because we are serving the people of Zambia. The decorum of this house. I would want to appeal to the presiding officer to take a much firmer and stronger stance that you save this house. That is my appeal. We cannot afford to let this house go under because of 2, 3, 4 young men who have got no manners. We can't allow that. We can't allow that. We are here to serve the people of Zambia, and we must show our best characters. So it shall be. As I end, I would like once again to say a blessing for this nation, Zambia. May God bless Zambia. May God bless the members of parliament for UPND. And may God bless the presiding officer. I thank you all.
The Honorable Government Chief Whip wants to debate.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for this time. Mr. Speaker, from the beginning of my speech, let me just try to appreciate all of you members of Parliament, the backbenchers, progressive PF MPs, independents, for being very objective in your debate. Mr. Speaker, I also want to state that we have a limited number of members of Parliament that are debated against this speech. We are not worried. They belong to a team called Alewere Rapport, and they believe that those who go away can simply come back. Mr. Speaker, let me start my debate by quoting Mr. President on page 2. We thank the Zambian people for their resilience in 2024. Our values and principles were tested in the midst of the worst drought in living memory. We are looking forward to a better future. Mr. Speaker, this government has shown the people of Zambia that it cares for everyone. There is no discrimination. Even at the time when we had drought last year, there was already a CDF that was trying to cushion the sufferings of our people. Through the grants, Mr. Speaker, through the loans, Mr. Speaker. This government also enhanced what we are calling social cash transfer. It was increased. And the people were benefiting from that. This government also introduced cash for work in every constituency. The Zambian people are very, very safe. Mr. Speaker, we are not forgetting the introduction of free education. Despite the drought, despite the hardship, no parent were forced to pay anything for their children to go to school. It means that this government looked at the future of this nation. Through CDF, Mr. Speaker, I think a lot of constituencies today will attest to say things have changed. When you hear a member of parliament saying this speech for 3, 4 years is the same, then it's not up to date. There is something missing, Mr. Speaker. Some of these members of parliament, they don't even have a good airport. This government has put airports in Nakonde. They are putting an airport there. You have to identify what is happening in your constituency. If you are buried in a Rewerapo, meaning they will come back, Mr. Speaker, they are wasting their time. Let me also say that in time immemorial, there is no constituency that has spent more than 100 million in less than 5 years, Mr. Speaker. These members of parliament, if they don't visit their constituencies, it is their own problem. Money has been given to them. Equal, and every constituency. In between 2016 and 2021, Mr. Speaker, my constituency spent 3.2 million in 5 years. And I would count structures that were built under that CDF. In 5 years, 3.2 million. We are 2.2 million, 2.2 million. In 4 years, every member of parliament here should be counting spending more than 100 million. It has never happened. It has never happened, Mr. Speaker. This time around, when you see a member of parliament debating the way we see some of these members of parliament, you should know that they are absentee members of parliament. Mr. Speaker, let me talk about myself. For Sore Central, we have structures in all the 12 wards, and people are able to count to say, yes, there's a school there. There's a maternity there. There is a good road there. Even in places where there was no road, Mr. Speaker, we are opening roads, 40 kilometers of Kivuku Road. There has never been a road there to promote agriculture. We are doing that in Sorwezi. There are places like Kanda Kanda in Sanangombe Ward. They have never seen a clinic. Under this government, they have seen a clinic. And they are able to appreciate. So, Mr. Speaker, this is a working government. It's a working government, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, let me talk about patriotism. The President in his speech was very clear. He mentioned that let us start honoring, especially the taxes. Some of us have been running away from taxes. We don't pay tax. Mr. Speaker, under the PF government, most foreign companies were paying to individuals. They were not paying ZRA. And today they owe ZRA huge sums of money. We urge such companies to start paying tax. It happened. Today, Mr. Speaker, we learned that some of the politicians that have been there for a long time, they owe government institutions. And such government institutions are even closed down. We are urging them to pay back. They have to pay back. You can't borrow something and not able to pay back. You are blocking others from benefiting from the same facility. Yes, DBZ. We're talking about DBZ. Mr. Speaker, patriotism is not just about outsiders. Even here, Mr. Speaker, as you can see on your left, how many people are present? That is not patriotism. I know we don't debate ourselves, but this is patriotism. We're talking about patriotism. Look at your right, Mr. Speaker. We are all there. We are all there. That is patriotism. Mr. Speaker, this government means well to the people of Zambia. And I'm happy to get the report from Copperbelt. I know that there's huge investment on the Copperbelt through the mines. Not only Copperbelt, talk about Lusaka Province under agriculture. We have fertilizer plants. For the first time, Zambia is going to be exporting fertilizer. Yes, we are exporting fertilizer. Mr. Speaker, when you come to Northwestern Province, we have also benefited from foreign direct investment in the mines. Kansanshi alone, for its expansion, is spending more than $2 billion to put life in Kansanshi. And this means that the youth have more life in UPND than any other government. Mr. Speaker, Kansanshi alone is extending its life to more than 25 years. How many people are going to be here after 25 years? This government is working for the youth. Go to Rumwana. Go to Rumwana. There's another investment of more than $2 billion on the super pit. super pit. Not only that, Mr. Speaker, today, under PPP program, apart from what we admire as in Lusaka and Dora, we also have Solwezi Mushindamo Road to be done. Not only that, we are just groundbreaking the Mutanda, Kasempa, Kaoma Road. For the first time, there will be an upgrade on that road. Mr. Speaker, let's go to Mwenilunga. Mwenilunga alone, we are going to have the first ever one-stop border post in Northwestern Province, connecting to Kolwezi. Mr. Speaker, this is investment. This is investment. This means that Northwestern Province is opening up for investment. Come 10 years, it will never be the same. That is the next copper belt of Zambia. I know that many are worried about township roads, especially in my constituency. And I want to assure them that this government understands what we are going through as the people of Solwezi and other districts in Northwestern Province. Through the same roads, Mr. Speaker, we have 10 kilometers of township roads to be done on the Solwezi Mushindamo Road. There will be 10 kilometers of township roads. In Kasempa, because of the Mutanda Kasempa Kaoma Road, Kasempa is benefiting 10 kilometers of township roads. And I hope this is the same with Mwenilunga benefiting from Kambimba Road. So for me, Mr. Speaker, this speech means well. The president came here and he meant well. And those who are against the amendment of some clause in the Constitution are against the people of Northwestern Province. Mr. Speaker, we have Kasempa constituency. You can't manage it in 6 months. There are 22 wards. We have 24 wards. We have Mwenilunga. Under PF, we suffered with by-elections. We couldn't manage to complete a ward because it has a radius of 70 kilometers. One ward. So those who are against the limitation, they are enemies of the people of Northwestern Province. Solwezi and Zambia. Solwezi Central alone. We have more people in Solwezi Central. We want that constituency to be delimited. That is what the people of Northwestern Province, Mr. Speaker, are crying for. So we have a president who a lot of people and a lot of Zambians now believe in because they are seeing how the economy is growing. Today, I was whispering to the Minister of Finance, and I said, the national reserves have improved. Even after finding them very low when we took over government, today we post of more than $4 billion in the national reserves. The reserves. Yes. So, for me, Mr. Speaker, this is a very progressive speech for the people of Zambia. I thank you.
Order, order, order. The Honorable Minister for Luapula Province, there's a document you referred to. May you lay it on the table? You've taken it?
Mr. Speaker, I gave it to, both of them handed them to.
Including the document that you referred to?
Yes.
You have 10 minutes of debate.
I don't want to, Madam Speaker,
Okay.
to be, Mr. Speaker, to be retrieved.
All right, okay. May you take your seat, Honorable. The acting leader of government business adjournment.
Mr. Speaker, I beg to move that the House do now adjourn.
The question is that the House now adjourns. Any debate, any objection? The question is agreed to. The House is now adjourned.
Good evening, and thank you for still being with us on Parliament Television. Business of the House has adjourned, and we now take a look at business that has been considered from the time business commenced at 14:30 hours.
So when business commenced at 14:30 hours, Madam Speaker did make two announcements. And Madam Speaker informed the House that she received communication to the effect that in the absence of our Honour the Vice President, who is attending to other government business, the Minister of Home Affairs and Internal Security, Honourable Jack Mwimbo, MP, has been appointed acting leader of government business in the House from today, Thursday, 20th March 2025, until further notice.
Thereafter, Madam Speaker recognized the presence in the public gallery of pupils and teachers from Dweb Trust School and the Avalon School in Lusaka District. Madam Speaker, on behalf of the National Assembly of Zambia, warmly welcomed the visitors to the National Assembly.
After those announcements, there was a presentation of three government bills. The first bill was presented by the Minister of Home Affairs and Internal Security. He did present the Closed Circuit Television Public Protection Bill, National Assembly Bill number 1 of 2025. And this bill was read the first time, and the bill was referred to the Committee on National Security and Foreign Affairs.
Joe, we must make mention that the committee is expected to bring the report to the House in due course. And the second bill that was presented was the Border Management and Trade Facility Bill, National Assembly Bill number 5 of 2025. And this bill was presented by the Minister of Commerce, Trade and Industry, Honorable Chipoka Mulenga. This bill was read the first time and referred to the Committee on National Economy, Trade and Labour Matters, and the committee is expected to bring the report to the House in due course.
The Minister of Community Development and Social Services did present the non-government organizations National Assembly Bill number 6 of 2025, and the bill was read the first time, and it was referred to the Committee on Health, Community Development and Social Services, and the report is expected to be brought before the House in due course.
Indeed, and thereafter the House went on to consider two questions for oral answer under Standing Order 80, and the first question, which was 265, was asked by Mr. Sidney Mushanga, who is Watcher Member of Parliament, and his question was directed to the Minister of Health. He wanted to know, in A, whether the government has any plans to construct a hospital to cater for the following areas in Watcher Parliamentary constituency: Kalelwe, Munyama and Kasavasa. And the Minister did respond that the Watcher Parliamentary constituency is actually scheduled to have one mini hospital, as well as Kawe Central is expected to have one level hospital, so making it two for the constituency. And if so, when the plans will be implemented, and in see what the estimated cost of the project is, he did respond that the questions fell up because government has plans.
Yes, indeed. So after consideration of question 265, the House went on to consider question 266, which came from Dr. Clement Andereki, Katombola constituency member of Parliament. He did pose a question to the Minister of Infrastructure and Housing and Urban Development. He wanted to find out why the construction of Zimba Nyawa Kalomo Road has stalled. And in response, the Minister did say that the construction of Zimba Nyawa Kalomo Road stalled due to the non-performance of the contractor was awarded to carry out works on the same road. And the Member of Parliament also wanted to find out what the outstanding works in percentage terms were as of December 2024. The Minister stated that the percentage works as December 2024 was 81%. In answering part C over the question, where the Member of Parliament, Dr. Clement Andereki, wanted to find out when the project will resume, the Minister did say that the project will resume in April 2025 after a new contractor has been engaged. And in answering part B, which was when the project will be completed, we did hear the Minister who stated that the project will be completed within 24 months this year.
After the consideration of the two questions for oral answer, understanding Order 80, there was resumption of debate on the motion of thanks, the President's address, a motion of 4th March 2025, that the thanks of this Assembly be recorded for the exposition of public policy contained in the President's address. I must make mention that this motion was moved by Kanchivia, Member of Parliament, and today we've seen quite a number of ministers debate the motion, and basically so that's the business that has been considered today, Thursday, 20th March 2025. Joe?
Yes, indeed. Just to make a correction on question 265, I did say that the project will be completed in 24 months this year. Actually, the Minister did say that the project will be completed in 24 months of commencing the work. So I just wanted to make that correction.
Great indeed. So on behalf of the entire production crew and on behalf of Joe Muyunda Katema, I wish you a pleasant evening.